Child endangerment.
We'll be in radio contact with you the whole time.
The famous TV show Stranger Things is undoubtedly no stranger to the world of Netflix. The show is amazing in so many ways. Jaw-dropping storyline, cool characters, pleasant aesthetics, and intriguing plot twists. All those qualities make the fans tied to the screens. Most of you will agree that the show has a lot of powerful moments that you just have to rewatch a couple times. In today's video, we'll talk about Stranger Things' most paused moments. Before we dive into the video, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. At first, let us talk about the scene where Eleven is in the rain. One of the biggest charms of this show is that it has an amazing cast, especially the younger ones. We all remember the Chapter 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers, as Will, Lucas, Dustin, and Mike were playing Dungeons & Dragons in Mike's basement. Not long after that, when boys encounter Demogorgon in the game, Mike's mother comes into the scene telling the kids to wrap it up and go to their homes. While Will is riding his bike, he encounters a mysterious figure in the dark, causing him to crush his bike. A few moments later, the boy disappears. Hawking's National Laboratory has always been full of mystery, but that time, unknown to the community, the laboratory had some technical issues in an experiment causing them to unleash a deadly creature from an alternative reality. Not long after this moment, really strange things start to happen. During a rainstorm, when kids were trying to look for their friend in the woods, they found a young girl with the tattoo reading 11 on her forearm. As it turned out, she also ran from the laboratory. The whole scene was so random, full of unconnected dots and mystery, that according to fans, they had to rewatch it a couple of times. There were so many questions. Fans even said that the very first Fig Will encounter in the dark didn't really look like the monster we see in the rest of the series. Here's what the Reddit user I was reloading 556 wrote about this matter. In the very first episode, in the first 8 minutes, when the very first monster runs Will off the road, off his bike, and forces him to run to his house, and when he turns around, he gets to his front door and sees the monster in the distance. It doesn't look like the monsters you see throughout the rest of the show. Has anyone ever noticed or questioned that? I've always wondered if that was a completely different monster than the Demagogues or the Demogorgon. Another fan, Michael Beltatus, also says the following on Reddit: I think the Demogorgon was chasing 11, not Will, and the Will was in the wrong place at the wrong time. When Will looked out of the window, I think he saw 11, which would explain how the latch slid open. Also, the Demogorgon is almost 7 feet tall. There's no way that the shadow that was seen by Will is 7 feet tall. Looks more like a child. The next scene we'll talk about is the first kiss of Mike and Eleven. Nothing is as heartwarming and as funny as the childish romance of middle school kids. Do you remember season 1's chapter 8, The Upside Down, where Eleven and the boys prepare to fight the Demogorgon? This all happens while Joyce and Hopper revive Will in the parallel world. Before the kids go to a big fight, Mike asks Eleven to the snowball, the school sweetheart dance. He starts talking about how things would change when this was all over. She would not have to hide in his basement anymore, and he also says, maybe we could go to the snowball together. It's this cheesy school dance where you gotta go to the gym and dance music and stuff. I've never been, but I know you're not supposed to go with your sister. Raised in a lab, Eleven does not understand what Mike is talking about. Then Mike keeps explaining, I mean, you can, but it'd be really weird. You could go to school dances with someone that you like. A few seconds later, he leans towards Eleven and gives her a quick kiss. Next scene we'll talk about is where we find out Eleven was alive. Chapter 8, The Upside Down, the finale of the first season, left us all intrigued. After Eleven destroyed the Demogorgon, she also disappeared, leaving her friends thinking that she was dead. People who also got attached to her, like Hopper, did not leave hope that she would come back. In the end of the episode, we see that Hopper leaves a box of food in the woods, including Eleven's favorite meal, Eggo waffles. Fans breathed a sigh of relief when they saw that the end of season 2 opener, chapter 1, Mad Max. As it turned out, Eleven was secretly living with Hopper at his grandfather's old cabin. We find out later in season 2's chapter 3, The Pollywog, that Eleven blasted herself in the alternate world while she was fighting Demogorgon. After she found the way out, she saw the waffles Hopper had left her. He later invited her to live with him. The next scene on our list is Girls' Day Out. It is without a doubt that Eleven and Mike are an adorable couple. Like in many relationships, they also have their ups and downs, especially at the beginning of season 3, the relationship was kind of off. The couple loved spending time with each other, but they were not always able to do so because Hopper wanted Eleven to keep a low profile. It was a very sad period for Eleven, and she got really excited when Max asked her to go shopping in chapter 2, The Mall Rats. We all remember that Eleven and Max didn't really start their friendship on a good note. Eleven was cold to her in season 2 because she was jealous Max was talking to Mike while she could not even leave the cabin. But it all changed in season 3 as the girls became good friends. The whole scene was so cheerful. Eleven picked some 80s clothes, posed with Max in a photo booth, and had fun using her power at the food court and just had a great time. It's also noteworthy that not only were we able to see Eleven's fun and more cheerful side, we're also introduced to the shopping mall, a new location with dark secrets. The final scene we all remember is Hopper's letter. For most of you who have seen all the 3 seasons of Stranger Things, you probably experienced tones of the emotional roller coasters. It's true that there are some scenes in the show that can make you shed tears without much effort. The latest episode of season 3 was hands down one of the most memorable and rewatched episodes in the entire show. Along with the fact that the entire episode was filled with cliffhangers and surprising plot twists, it also had a very emotional ending. Most of you may remember that Jim Hopper selflessly sacrificed himself in the final episode. He did that so he could save people he cared about. Before making his life-changing decision, he writes a letter to his adopted daughter, Eleven. In the last moment of the show, as Eleven gets ready to leave Hawkins, Indiana, and follow Joyce and Will Byers, we see her take the letter his dad left her and start reading it. The letter was so emotional that it brought our favorite character to tears. There weren't many moments of the show where we see Eleven cry, but let's get real. Hopper's letter was so emotional, it made us all burst into tears alongside Eleven. The scene is also very special for another reason. Did you know that those tears were actually real? Millie Bobby Brown later told online publications that in the scene, she was reading this letter for the first time, so her performance and tears were real. After finding out about this, Sans became even more obsessed with this scene. It was so warm and 100% sincere. Here's what Millie had to share about the scene where she actually is not acting at all. They had pre-recorded David Harper and they played it out loud. I didn't want to read that speech. I didn't want to hear about it. I didn't want to rehearse it. I just immediately wanted to put a camera on me and find the way I react, and the way I reacted was pure devastation and sadness, and a distraught child that just lost their father, or so she thinks. So it's definitely a raw emotion, especially because David Harper and I are really close. He's just one of the greatest men. I think something I admire about David is he respects girls and women so much. It felt so, I'm so gutted. I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. So the emotions were raw in that scene for sure. This talented actress even fooled us with her amazing performance. On this note, we end in our video. These were some examples of the most paused moments in Stranger Things. There were way more. We would like to know your opinion about the video. What was the most useful information you heard, and do you agree with everything we said? Don't hesitate to leave a comment down below and press the like button if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.